All right, folks, sit down for this one. Because what I'm about to tell you, it is not rumor, it is not clickbait, and it is straight from Candace Owens' own mouth. She claims that an actual assassination attempt was planned against her and not by some kind of random crazies online. Nope. According to her, this involved people with real influence, real reach, and real intent. The White House knew, U.S. agencies knew, and apparently this thing was credible enough that Donald Trump himself was pulled into the loop. So yeah, we're diving into all of it. Okay? The context, the power plays behind the scenes, and questions everyone is asking. Why Candace? Why now? And who in the hell would benefit from her being silenced?
US conservative influencer and podcaster Candace Owens has accused French President Emmanuel Macron and his wife Brigitte of paying for her assassination in what she called an urgent X statement, which has garnered more than 40 million views.
Let's get one thing straight here. Candace Owens is not a quiet woman in politics. Not by any means. Love her, hate her. She is loud, she is bold, and she absolutely unfiltered. Kind of like moi. Proud of it too. And whether you agree with her or not, Candace has been in the middle of just about every political storm for years. She challenged BLM, she fought the media, she clashed with the trans activist community, she went after Hollywood, she bottled that poke narrative. You know, with that illness, you know exactly what I'm talking about. I just got to keep it clean for YouTube purposes. Okay? She roasted both conservatives and liberals. And let's not forget the Dolly Wire fallout. OMG. That mess was really loud. So let's stop pretending that this woman lives a peaceful, quiet life in a cabin in the woods. Absolutely not. Candace has enemies. And I mean plural. Enemies. Multiple power groups, multiple ideologies, multiple industries. And that's why when she says, someone put a hit on me, people listen.
Candace Owens, that the French government has paid for and executed a plan to assassinate her.
Now, let's talk about the claim. What Candace actually said, okay? So, in a recent video, Candace revealed a credible source close to the first couple, meaning Trump and Melania. It told her she had a hit on her life. That's her claim. So let me just repeat that here for a minute. The White House connected source allegedly told her that various U.S. agencies were aware of an actual threat against her. Let that sink in for a minute. Okay. She said they had details, they had knowledge that wasn't vague internet chatter. This was specific, targeted, and serious. According to her, the threat wasn't random. It had motive, it had weight, and it had reach. Now here's the most important question. Why Candace? Why now? And why would people with political power care enough to oversee a hit? Hold that thought, because we're digging deeper. Okay. Context matters. We're entering the 2024-2025 election era. And honey, this is the most chaotic political climate in decades. They're not just arguing on Twitter. They're getting doxxed and stalked, swatted, threatened, hacked, you name it. And Candace hasn't exactly been subtle. She's been directly calling it out. The Biden administration, the DOJ, Big Pharma, MediaWorks, Hollywood elites, tech obligations, tech people, the alphabet community, radical activists, and conservative leaders she claims are wolves in sheep's clothing. She is a grenade rolling into every room. So when someone like that says, they put a hit on me, you have to at least look at the temperature in the room, okay? Because right now, the room is on fire, baby. It's an inferno. Totally. So, let's talk about motive. Because that's where things get spicy. Who benefits from Candace being silenced? Here are 3 powerful categories that you need to understand. The first one, political opponents. Candace is one of the loudest voices for conservative commentary. Removing her cuts her off from the most influential right-wing pipelines, especially among young voters. 2, corporate and media entities. She exposes corruption, media bias, hidden agendas behind the motives, and financial interests. Then there are people who don't want her talking. 3, she has fallen out with, and yes, this includes conservative power players. She openly criticized the Daily Wire, conservative influencers, private donors, political strategists, and even Trump allies. Sometimes your enemy is not the other side. Sometimes it's your own side. And that is dangerous. And Candace versus the Daily Wire, the fallout that changed everything. This part matters more than what people think. Candace and the Daily Wire were once the golden conservative media marriage. Then suddenly, kaboom! They blow up publicly. The feud escalates fast, and with allegations, disagreements, and a break that splits conservative audiences right down the middle. And here's why this matters in the context of a hit. When big political commentators fall out, you find out who their real friends are and only who and the ones who only stood by them for business. When money, power, and influence get shaken up, people get angry, people get strategic, and yes, sometimes people get dangerous. And then her relationship with Trump. Let's talk about this. Candace is one of the few people who can criticize him, praise him in the same breath, and still have his respect. But behind the scenes, political families are protective, very protective, especially when you're close to the inner circle. If Candace says Trump confirmed her threat, that his people were aware of a threat, that's not casual gossip. That means the threat was real, the threat was documented, and someone thought she was important enough to warn. This is not normal. Commonators don't get the White House's attention or get warnings from the White House unless something is brewing. And the missing piece, why now? So why would this happen now? Because Candace has a new level of influence. She went from commentator to political disruptor, from influencer to whistleblower level voice. Let that sink in for a second. I mean, I could probably name off 4 or 5 different cases where a whistleblower just vanished or was in some kind of horrific accident or allegedly did themselves in. You know where I'm going with that. Conspiracy level. So people think that she's just talking online. But she is changing audiences, shifting options, redirecting narratives. And that, my friends, is when powerful people take notice. And whether you agree with her or not, it doesn't matter. Power moves don't care about your opinion. Doesn't care about my opinion. Doesn't care about my uncle's second cousin 20 times removed. Doesn't care. They care about momentum. And think about it. Candace has it. And that makes her a target. She's got this big, huge bullseye on her back. So let's break down the threat itself. What we know, agencies were allegedly aware. The threat was considered credible. The source was close to Trump. It wasn't random. It had a motive. It had strategy behind it. It comes at a time when tension was really heightened there. And it wasn't meant to silence or intimidate. I mean, it was meant to shake Candace in her shoes. And Candace claims that somebody wanted her wiped off the face of the earth. And before you roll your eyes, think about this. Political hits don't always look like the movie. Sometimes they're planned accidents or they are a staged robbery. Sometimes they're intimidation campaigns that escalate. Sometimes they're wrong place, wrong time type of setups. And there's a reason she said she was warned. And now the political reaction, divided and loud. Okay. Once the clip went viral, okay, people split into 3 camps. Camp 1 is that she's telling the truth. These people believe that she is a target. They think she knows too much, speaks too loudly, and threatens too many powerful people and interests. The second camp is that she's exaggerating. They think that she blew a vague threat out of proportion. And then the third camp of this, people say it doesn't matter. Look at the world we live in. These people believe any loud public figure is a target now. Especially since the unfortunate incident with Charlie Kirk. But let me tell you something. Candace doesn't shake easily. She doesn't cry wolf. And she doesn't say something this heavy unless she feels the ground moving under her feet. So what's the truth here? This is where I'm going to be brutally honest with my opinions too. Okay? I don't know. You don't know. We only know what she's shared publicly. But here are the facts. She said she was worried. Her source had political weight. She had enough enemies to fill a football stadium. Okay? She absolutely influenced enough to be targeted. This didn't happen in a vacuum. This was political climate on fire. So yes, whether you believe every detail or not, the bigger picture is absolutely believable. Here's what I want to know from you. Do you think this was an exaggeration, or do you think Candace Owens really did have a price put on her head? Because I'm going to be honest. Nothing in politics shocks me anymore. Not the threats, not the power plays, not the backdoor agendas. Okay. And Candace has stepped on a lot of toes. And some of those toes belong to people who don't exactly play fair. And also, when there is high stakes here, when the stakes are high, rolling the dice, money and power say it all. There's a saying in the true crime world, follow the money. And there, folks, I'm dropping the mic.